You think you know what your job is for, what your phone is for, what your relationships are for, but what if you're completely wrong about all of it? We'll explore this unsettling possibility and end with a guided meditation to help you find what's actually underneath all those assumptions. This lesson teaches that we don't actually know what anything in our world is truly for, not our possessions, relationships, or daily activities. While we think we understand surface-level purposes, a phone is for communication, we're completely mistaken about the deeper meaning and function of everything we encounter, because we're viewing it all through the lens of personal goals that don't actually serve us. You're sitting at your desk, staring at an email from your boss about the quarterly review meeting. Instantly, your mind assigns meaning. This is about judgment, performance, whether you're good enough, job security. Your stomach tightens as you craft the story of what this meeting is for: evaluation, comparison, potential criticism. But here's the uncomfortable truth. We do this with everything. Every single thing. The coffee mug on your desk. Your mind has already decided it's for getting through the morning, for productivity, for that little hit of comfort before the day really starts. Your phone, it's for staying connected, sure, but also for avoiding uncomfortable silences, for feeling important when notifications arrive, for that dopamine hit when someone likes your post. We're walking around with an invisible manual in our heads, constantly referencing it to tell us what everything means. But who wrote this manual? When did we agree to these definitions? Imagine you've been living in a house where every room has been labeled wrong. The kitchen marked bedroom, the bathroom marked kitchen, and so on. You've been trying to sleep in the kitchen and cook in the bathroom, wondering why nothing works. The labels aren't the rooms themselves. But you've been so focused on the wrong signs that you've forgotten to actually look at what's in front of you. That's exactly what we're doing with our entire lives. We've labeled everything according to what we think we need from it, what we're afraid of losing, what we hope it will give us. And these labels, these purposes we've assigned, they're all about getting something or avoiding something. Always. Think about that email from your boss again. You've already decided it's about your worth, your security, your future. But what if, and stay with me here, what if that email has absolutely nothing to do with any of those things? What if your entire interpretation is based on a manual you wrote from fear? Here's where it gets interesting. Once you notice this pattern, you can't unsee it. You realize you're playing an exhausting game all day long. Everything that crosses your path gets immediately sorted into categories. This will help me. This might hurt me. This will make me look good. This might expose me. Your morning coffee isn't just coffee. It's your shield against fatigue. Your car isn't just transportation, it's your status symbol or your source of shame. That text from your friend isn't just words, it's validation or rejection. You're not living in the world, you're living in your interpretation of the world. And it's exhausting, isn't it? This constant vigilance, this endless meaning-making. You're like a translator who never gets a break, constantly converting raw experience into stories about what things are for. But what if you're mistranslating everything? Back to that mislabeled house. You've been so frustrated, haven't you? Why doesn't the bedroom have a stove? Why is there a toilet in the kitchen? The frustration comes from trying to force reality to match your labels instead of questioning whether the labels might be wrong. There's a moment, and maybe you've felt this, when you suddenly notice your own game. Maybe you're in the middle of crafting a story about what someone's tone of voice meant, and you catch yourself. Or you're assigning deep significance to whether someone responded to your message quickly enough, and you pause. In that pause, something shifts. It's like watching yourself from outside the maze you've been running in. You notice yourself assigning all these purposes, all these meanings, and for just a second, you realize, I made all of this up. Every bit of it. That email from your boss, in that moment of recognition, you notice it for what it actually is, words on a screen. Not a judgment of your worth. Not a threat to your security, just words on a screen. The meeting it's announcing, just people in a room talking. The quarterly review. Numbers on a spreadsheet. When you stop imposing your agenda on everything around you, a profound spaciousness opens up, like finally setting down a heavy backpack you didn't realize you were carrying. Life becomes less effortful because you're no longer forcing everything to mean what you think it should mean. Here's the part that might feel scary at first. Admitting you don't actually know what anything is for. Your mind rebels against this. It says, of course I know. A car is for driving. A job is for money. A relationship is for love. But those are just the surface labels, aren't they? The real question is, what are you using them for in your mind? Because here's what we're really doing. We're using everything as evidence in the case we're constantly building. Evidence that we're good enough or not good enough. Evidence that we're safe or in danger. Evidence that we're loved or alone. Every single thing becomes a witness in this trial that never ends. But what if we stopped the trial? What if we admitted that we don't actually know what that email is for? What that meeting is for? What any of it is really for? Not in some philosophical way, but in a practical, moment-to-moment way. There's such relief in this admission. It's like finally putting down a book you've been pretending to understand. You don't have to keep up the act anymore. You don't have to pretend you know what everything means. So what would it look like to live without the manual? To walk through your day without immediately assigning purpose to everything you encounter? That email arrives. You read it. You respond, but you don't make it mean anything about your worth. The meeting happens. People talk. Decisions get made, but you don't use it as evidence in your ongoing trial. Your phone rings. You answer it or you don't, but you don't make it mean you're important or forgotten. This isn't about becoming passive or indifferent. It's about recognizing that the meanings we assign are optional. They're not built into things. We paint them on. And we can stop painting. In that mislabeled house, what if you just started looking at what's actually there? Not the labels, but the reality. There's a room with a stove and refrigerator, great for cooking. There's a room with a bed, great for sleeping. The labels were never the problem. Believing them was. As you move through your day, you might notice how quick your mind is to assign purpose, to make meaning, to categorize and sort. That's okay. You've been doing it for years. But now you know something you didn't know before. You don't have to believe your own assignments. You can hold them lightly. You can even let them go. And in that letting go, something else becomes possible. A different kind of knowing. Not the frantic knowing of the ego that needs to categorize everything for survival, but a quieter knowing. A recognition that maybe, just maybe, everything is actually for something much simpler and more beautiful than all our complicated stories. Maybe everything, that email, that meeting, that phone call, that cup of coffee, maybe it's all for the same thing. Maybe it's all just an opportunity to choose peace instead of the story. To choose presence instead of the manual. To choose not knowing instead of false certainty. And that's the real freedom, isn't it? Not in finally figuring out what everything is for, but in being okay with not knowing. In letting life be life instead of evidence. In putting down the manual and picking up wonder instead. If you want to keep practicing with us, you can like the video and subscribe. Let's take a moment now to let this settle with a guided meditation. Let yourself settle into this moment. Feel your body finding its place, whether sitting or lying down. No need to arrange yourself in any special way. Just let comfort find you. Notice your breath arriving and leaving. Arriving and leaving. Nothing to change about it. It knows what to do. Now, gently bring to mind something from your day. Maybe an object on your desk. Maybe a message you received. Just let it rest lightly in your awareness. Notice how quickly your mind wants to tell you what it's for, what it means, what you should do about it. That's okay, just notice. Now observe if you can let those assignments soften, like labels peeling gently away. Not forcing anything, just allowing the meanings to become lighter. What remains when you don't know what it's for? Feel into that space, that openness. Perhaps you notice other things arising. Other objects, memories, plans. Let them come. And with each one, gently acknowledge, I don't actually know what this is for. And that's okay. Feel the relief in not knowing. The space it creates, the burden you can put down. You might remember the mislabeled rooms. How tiring it was to believe the wrong signs. Feel yourself in a house where you can finally observe what's actually there. No labels needed. Rest here in this not knowing, this gentle uncertainty that isn't scary but spacious. Your breath continues, your heart continues. Life continues, all without you having to know what any of it is for. When you're ready, let your eyes gently open if they've been closed. Let the world return, but softer now. Less labeled. More mysterious. Carry this lightness with you. This permission to not know. This freedom from the manual you never needed to follow. Thank you for being here and practicing together. If you'd like, you can find a free digital ACIM resource in the description. And if you want to mark the moment, a simple comment such as, I am grateful, is welcome. Thank you for taking this time to question what you thought you knew. As you move through your day, be gentle with yourself when you notice the old pattern of assigning meaning to everything. Remember, you can hold those assignments lightly now. You know something beautiful. You don't actually have to know what anything is for. And in that not knowing, there's so much peace. Until next time, be well.